What's up, my Naija people? How na day? Now let's talk about Nigeria's upcoming general election, the presidential election precisely. Who could be the next president of Nigeria? Now, any avid watcher of the Nigerian Polity knows that the February 25 contest is not the usual two-man race. One man has managed to cause a stirring that has now given him a rightfully deserved place of major contender, making the Nigerian presidential election 2023 a three-frontliner race with no clear-cut favorites to win. Here are 6 reasons why Peter Obi of the Labour Party may become Nigeria's next president. I know this will excite the obedience. Now let's get into it right away. Number 1 reason why Peter Obi may become Nigeria's next president: the backing of former heads of state. One major factor that has worked for the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, is that he may be having the support of Nigeria's former heads of state. I probably am one of the first person to report sometime last year that former President Olusegun Obasanjo was leading an agenda to rally support for Obi. A number of persons did dismiss the information, and some even called it beer parlor talk. But I guess it's quite clear to every active watcher of the Nigerian polity now that indeed former President Olusegun Obasanjo is throwing his weight behind the Labour Party presidential candidate. Now, it's being insinuated out there, information coming seems to be suggesting that former President Olusegun Obasanjo may be doing some on-the-ground work for Peter Obi. It is said that Olusegun Obasanjo is currently lobbying former head of state Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida IBB to come on board the third force agenda that will be named the Nigerian Project. Baba has not made this a secret at all, especially lately. In fact, I can tell you categorically that Obasanjo is not working alone on this all-important task of delivering Obi as Nigeria's president. It seems as though he's been able to convince other former heads of state in persons of Yakubu Gowon, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, Goodluck Jonathan, and a number of other powerful Nigerians to come on board this agenda, while he's mainly the spokesman of the think tank. You may say these are mere insinuations, but if this is anything to go by, trust me, it's huge. None of the frontliners in the race now wouldn't welcome the endorsement of any of the former heads of state.
Nigeria is not what it should be today. And if anybody says anything to the contrary, his or her head will need to be examined. And nobody will do it for us. And nobody needs to be blamed. But the choice is in our hand. I see 6 and have a dozen. 6 and have a dozen. I don't know what choice you will make out of that too. And is there any choice? And don't let us deceive ourselves. We have a choice. It's whether we make the right choice or we ignore making the right choice. And if we don't make the right choice, we don't blame anybody. We blame ourselves.
Number 2 reasons why Peter Obi may become Nigeria's next president: the backing of Western powers. I have reasons to believe that Peter Obi may be enjoying massive support from the European Union, Britain, and the United States. When I say massive support, it is in the sense that Obi may be the candidate they would prefer to emerge as Nigeria's next president. How did I come to this conclusion? It's pretty simple. Just follow the narrative and body language of the Western media. Their reporting has greatly been friendly to the Obi campaign.
Out of the vibrant chaos of Nigeria's elections, a new name is emerging in African politics. Peter Obi has gone from long shot to front runner in just a few months.
Who could be the next president of Nigeria? This guy is really shaking things up.
Also, remember that a few days before Peter Obi left the PDP for Labour Party, where he eventually emerged as their presidential candidate, he was seen at the Downing Street, United Kingdom. Now, the Downing Street is the seat of power of the United Kingdom government, just like Aso Rock in Nigeria. So he was actually seen with some officials of the British Parliament at the Downing Street. There are insinuations that the decision for him to leave the PDP and contest under the platform of the Labour Party was finalized at the Downing Street by a high-level think tank comprising some prominent Nigerians and some top officials of the British government. Now, if you understand politics and how much influence Western powers can wield as it affects how heads of states emerge in Africa and the third world in general, then you would agree that the much I am saying is a big deal. Please, if you are new to the channel, I really like you to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. I really would appreciate. Thank you very much for subscribing. Number 3 reason why Peter Obi may win the 2023 presidential election. President Buhari has no horse in the race. To contest for office of head of state in a third world democracy as opposition against a ruling party is arguably one of the most Herculean tasks on earth. Usually, the party in power deploys all instruments of state to ensuring that it has the upper hand in the election. It is almost like contesting against the state itself. But it appears that the opposition parties in the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria may have received some solace, as feelers in the air seems to be suggesting that President Buhari is not interested in using his office to granting any undue advantage to his own party. In fact, it appears that the president is not backing the candidate of his party in the election in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The relationship between the two seems to have frosted lately. Insinuations are now rife that the recent developments ranging from fear scarcity, naira redesign, were deliberately created to hamper Tinubu's chances at the polls. If these insinuations are anything to go by, that President Muhammadu Buhari has no horse in the race, the implication is that we may be having a level playing field for all the candidates to test their popularity at the polls. You would agree that the opposition couldn't ask for more, because this situation is to a large extent definitely to their advantage. Number 4 reason why Peter Obi may win the 2023 presidential election. The candidate of the church. You know that Nigeria is a heterogeneous society with over 250 ethnic groups and well over 500 languages. It's a very religious state, with Islam and Christianity said to be equal halves of the population. This usually have had great effect in how presidents emerged over the years. One factor that arguably increases Peter Obi's chances of winning the February 25 election is that he seems to be the candidate of the church. It appears that the church in Nigeria have now endorsed the candidacy of Obi as their preferred choice for president of Nigeria. Why this is crucial is that there seems to be a somewhat unison across the respective Christian denominations of the Nigerian church on the matter. Unlike before, from Catholics to Anglicans and to Pentecostals, there appears to be a general consensus for the church to queue behind the Labour Party candidate. Whether this is a healthy development for the church and the Nigerian state is another conversation entirely. But for now, Peter Obi can already start counting his gains. To have such an institution like the church, with following cutting across the nook and cranny of the country, backing you in an election, is highly coveted by the average Nigerian politician. We can only now wait to see if this will have remarkable effects as it affects Obi's performance at the February polls.
You mocking devil, you will not use your candidate to mock this country. The third one, his name is in the Bible.
Reason why Peter Obi may be Nigeria's next president. Number 5. Southern and Igbo candidates. The 2023 presidential election is highly polarized along regional lines. We are seeing the 3 frontliners coming from the 3 major ethnic groups in Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the ruling party APC, who comes from the western region, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP from the north, and Peter Obi of the Labour Party from the east. Although Tinubu and Obi are from the south, that is the southwest and the southeast respectively. Tinubu's candidacy has been dealt a heavy blow due to his same-face ticket. He has former Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima, who is a Muslim, as running mate, where he, that is Tinubu himself, is also a Muslim. This to a large extent has not gone down well with many southern voters, leaving them with the option of Obi. If the aforesaid is anything to go by, it appears that a vast majority of Southerners, including the Southeasterners, have now endorsed Obi as their candidate who will represent the Southern interest in government, especially as it is generally believed that it is the turn of the South and maybe even the Southeast to produce a president going by the unwritten rule of power-sharing arrangements. Recall that the Igbos have not produced a president since Aguiyi Ironsi had a stint as head of state in 1966. And finally, on 6 reasons why Peter Obi may win the 2023 presidential election. Number 6. Obi is the candidate of the new generation voters. One factor that has greatly affected the change of dynamics in Nigeria's 2023 presidential election is the agitation for a generational change in leadership. Invariably, I am saying that how young people are thinking is a huge part of this election. It appears that a large chunk of the young people and first-time voters across the country, especially from the southern and north-central region of the country, are now hinging their hope in what we can now consider a third force ably represented by Peter Obi. In fact, it is not out of place to say that this is a contest between the old and the young, or maybe it's young ideas against old ones. In this context, Obi may not exactly be young, he's in his 60s already. However, he is seen by a vast majority of his young supporters as dynamic and more in tune with the aspirations and desires of young people for the country. Truly, Obi is a boy.
Peter Obi is the only face many Nigerians have into the Aso Rock. So if he dare it not fulfill the Nigerian mandate, we'll bring him down. Obi, though super wealthy, has not come across as the average Nigerian politician who many see as grandeur, self-serving, and arrogant. Obi is regularly seen carrying his own briefcase, joining queues, flying business class, and he seems accessible. These qualities, which are so rare in leadership at the political level in Nigeria today, has endeared him to majority of Nigerians, especially young people.
I think he is the right person for the right job at the right time. And this is the right time. We need this to go right.
He understands the problem and he knows that the youths are the future of the country and he's taking advantage of that.
As Obi and the Labour Party go into the February 25 all-important contest, they definitely are rest assured of the backing of millions of young people and first-time voters who are largely frustrated with the status quo. Now, the much that has been said here so far are merely projections, but very logical. There are a number of factors that can come up on election day that also affects the outcome of major elections of this nature. It is for supporters of the respective parties to go to their respective voting centers, do the needful, which is voting and keeping their fingers crossed with the hope that the eventual outcome will be to their favor. Elections are meant to be won and lost. Whatever happens, let's endeavor to be peaceful and continue to sustain our belief in the democratic process. Arguably, democracy is still the best form of government. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section, like, and please share if you don't mind. My Naija people, una do well. What's up, my Nigerian people? How una dey? My name is Efe Cole Amadin, a political activist, public affairs commentator, and writer, multimedia practitioner, and business person. My goal is to promote political participation and awareness, influence public opinion for national development. I'll be bringing you updates and insightful analysis on developments in